So during all this time, that 12 years stint from 1996 until, say 2008, I had nothing but problems with my hips. I mean, I had 5 hip replacements in those years, 12 years. And I was doing all kinds of drugs, ecstasy, crystal meth. I mean, I had given up. I wanted to die. And my life was over. I've been married 5 times. And within 20 years, I was married 5 times. And terrible romantic, I guess. And I had several DUIs. I just tried to commit suicide. Got thrown in the crazy house for a while. And, I just given up. And then something happened. My brother came to see me. Jerry knows him, Jimbo. And he took me to the hospital because I couldn't walk. I got up to go to the bathroom and fell, and my legs wouldn't work. There was no feeling in my legs. And what happened was I was detoxing from alcohol and Vicodin. Not Vicodin. That was part of it. That wasn't called it. It was Valium, alcohol and Valium. And I learned later those are the only 2 things detoxing from that can kill you. The opiates just make you wish you were dead. And so they came, picked me up, took me to the hospital. And see, that was happening on the weekend. I cleaned out my house and everything, got rid of all the evidence and stuff because I was waiting to go to the doctor on Monday. I just said I'll just tough it out and get them on Monday. Well, I had all these problems. It took me to the hospital. They didn't know what was wrong with me. I was incoherent and stuff. For some reason or another, they gave me another script full of pain pills and sent me home. So my brother comes over 2 days later. He had bought me some food and stuff, and it was still sitting there when he came back over. And he said, "Danny, what are you doing?" I said, I got a hole in my head. He says, "What?" He said, "I got a hole in my head." So he pulls back the blankets and my 45's laying there, cocked and locked and ready to go. And he called the paramedics again. They put me in there, the hospital, and nobody knew what was wrong with me. I was out of my mind. I was having, seizures. I was having all these nightmares and just, out of my brain. And so I escaped from ICU and walk around the parking lot with my ass hanging out of the nightgown, blood coming out of both the arms from the IVs, looking for cigarettes. And so they get me back in the hospital, put me back in ICU, and I did it again, escaped. And they came and got me again. This time they strapped me to a bed. And I was in there, and I remember waking up, and there's these men standing in a circle around me. And one of the men was a guy named Gary Ports, my close friend who was in the business for quite a while, 2nd generation guy. Jerry knows. They had the deacons from his church there, and they had laid hands on me and were praying for me and stuff. I remember that. And anyway, an ex-girlfriend that I had been seeing came to the hospital. She was a nurse, and she told them what was going on, that I was detoxing from Valium and alcohol. And then they started treating me for the right thing, and I got better. And my brother got a hold of Ann, who is my wife now, and she was running the alcohol and drug deal for work for Vince. She's the one who headed up that whole deal for them. And she got me, they sent me to a place in Houston, Texas, had my brother fly out with me to make sure I got there. And it was a miniature clinic, and it was people with, they thought I had done brain damage to my head in some ways. And so I was there for about 3 weeks, and something hit me. I was sitting in a room, padded room, and I said, I can turn this all around. All I need to do is get sober and show people that you can get sober if you do the right things. And I can make right all the wrongs I've done. And there's a lot of things I've done wrong. And so I decided then that I was going to change my life. And anyway, I remember one of the nurses there said, "Dan, it's not your fault that you're an addict, but it is your responsibility to take care of it." And that resonated with me, So I had been to 4 other drug rehab centers before, and obviously it didn't work. But I went back to the hardest one I knew, and that was a place in Tampa called Healthcare Connection. And it was a no bullshit type place. It was strict, and they had these rules. I knew all this, but I wanted to go there because I wanted to get sober, and I wanted to change my life. And I was 56, and I thought my life was over. But since I've been sober, it's the best thing I ever did, and I got more things than I ever had ever before. So I was there for 6 months because I wanted to be, and I just have to thank Vince and the whole WWE universe, the whole organization. I mean, what company takes care of guys? It's been 20 years since I worked for him, and he sent me to drug rehab, 5 times, and he's done it for many others too. If you never even made it to the big club, he'll still take care of you. If you ever sign a contract, they'll take care of you. And I've been sober now for 12 years, and I'm so happy, and I got so much. God has really taken good care of me. AA programs helped me tremendously. And, I just want to tell people that it doesn't matter who you are, how far down, how far you hit bottom, you can come back out of it. I'm 68 years old now, and just, there was time when people wouldn't even let me watch their dog. I mean, my parents put me in charge of their trust and their companies, and asked me to take care of them and be the trustee of their trust. And, that means a lot to me, and getting my respect back. And, and I enjoy helping guys. Probably HCC has ran about 50 guys or more through their program over there. But unfortunately, that place doesn't exist anymore, but they're still sending people to other places. And all the guys that came to Tampa, I've had the pleasure of working with and helping them, and just not telling them what to do. I just told them what I did to do to get sober. And I enjoy doing it, and I'll continue doing it. It helps me stay sober. I got to give away something that was given to me.
And you work with a lot of the old boys, right? A lot of the boys that have had problems, that a lot of them have come to you, and you've helped the guys that have had problems with addiction, right?
Yes. Any of them that comes came here to Tampa, because I was the first one that, evidently I was the one that this place that I went to had the best success rate, because if I made it through there and stuck it out, it had to be good. So, because I was in the top 5, that evidently they had a top 5 list in the office, who was on the list, top 5 to pass away next. And I was in that list. And she didn't tell me what number I was in the top 5.
Danny, you're married to an angel, Ann Russo Gordon, who worked with WWE about as long as I did, and she's now your wife, but she helped pioneer that program, and she has been so helpful to so many people. And every time I think of her name, I just get a smile on my face, but just thinking of all the wonderful people that she has helped there. And I'm so happy for you and her. I mean, what a great couple that you guys are devoted to helping people recover. And like you say, you're a prime example. If Dan Spivey can make it through this thing, there's hope for everybody out there. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but all my respect to you and Ann, and man, the people that you guys have helped is a who's who of entertainment.
Yeah, it's been I just enjoy doing it. Giving back to what was given to me is my calling, I guess you could say. But I just love seeing guys get well, and just turn their lives around. And I did it at 56, so it's it can be done.
It's just always been amazing to me that WWE, that they've been willing to help so many people. Like you say, the WWE gets bashed for a lot of different things, but they do incredible stuff with people who are there for a cup of coffee. Some of them, I mean, some of them aren't very very long at all, and WWE has helped them. Just because it's the right thing to do. It's really an amazing program that they have that you have participated in and helped with.
It's been a few years now, but Billy Jack and some of these other yo-yos, went on there saying how bad Vince was and made them do drugs. They had to do steroids and made them work with all, it's the biggest bunch of bullshit. And I went on there and I told people the right story, the story that I knew was true. And, we weren't ever made to do anything we didn't want to do as far as that goes. I mean, I wasn't forced to take steroids. I wasn't forced to take pain pills and stuff. And, I knew I didn't have any insurance when I went into the business. I mean, I knew all those things. And they want to go on there and sue him, and say that he caused them to have, concussion syndromes and all that stuff. I mean, if he didn't work for the WWE, I don't feel like I was in the business if I would have ever happened to me. I mean, that was an epitome of your business, was working for them and being in the spotlight on WWF or E. I mean, that was the pinnacle of our profession, was to work there. And then they want to knock the guy and say he's, all these terrible things about it. I mean, what company takes care of guys that have drug and alcohol problems? There's not another major corporation out there that does that kind of stuff. I don't believe. I've never heard of them. And,
yeah, exactly, Danny. And your time of doing this work. I mean, when you're in that type of state of mind, you're right. You're always the one that's right, and everybody else coming in to help you is dead ass wrong. And with that attitude, did you ever have any physical confrontations or any difficulties in trying to get these guys or were they ready to go when you got to them?
Jerry, I talked to them, and the thing that I asked everybody that I help, are you willing to do anything to get sober? And if their answer is not yes, I don't work with them. It's just, I said, come to see me when you're ready to do anything to get sober, because that's the only way you're going to do it. You can't do it for anybody else. You can't do it for your wife. You can't do it for your kids. You got to do it because you want to do it. And I'm telling you that from personal experience. I couldn't do it for my mom and dad. It came down to the fact that I wanted to get sober and turn my life around. And I was willing to do anything to do it. And so and if they're ready, they're ready. They tell me, yeah, Dan, I'll do whatever you say. And it's all suggestions. I don't tell anybody they got to do anything. I just say, a suggestion that when you jump out of an airplane to have a parachute on.
Yeah. Now you get their name. What's the process? You get their name, and you just make a cold call to them, and hey, I'm here to help you. Do you want help or what?
Well, what generally happens, they have a guy that runs the program named Bill Keelar, real nice guy. He's been in the biz counseling business forever. He's got all the certificates and stuff. And they call him and they make arrangements to go to rehab. He tells me about them to coming in. I contact them when they get to the health care connection. And I would go see them and let them know that I was here to help. If they needed help, here's my number, call me. And need anything, I'm just right down the road. So that's how it starts. But I do have people that get my number and call me, and get some advice on how to get sober, what they should do, detox, things like that.
Why does rehab not always work the first time? Most guys who get clean have gone through rehab more than once.
Oh, well, because we're very unique people, because we're special. I go to rehab and they said, well, you need to read the big book. You need to do this. And I said, well, I'll do that one, but I'm not going to do this one. And they said, well, you need to do a step in the big book, step 4. Well, I'll do all of them but 4. You need to get a sponsor. I don't need a sponsor. So it takes a while for it to sink in that I'm not terminally unique and, I'm not special. I'm just a garden variety drunk, an alcoholic and, drug addict. And, I just wasn't, you just not ready until, you really to follow some directions, and that's all the program is following directions to follow what people did for them to get sober. Some people get sober by just saying, I'm going to quit, but I wasn't that fortunate. I was hard-headed and had to go through some more pain to get to where I'm at today,
You said something earlier that I think really nailed it to the point there. You can't do it for your mom and dad. You can't do it for your wife. You can't do it for your kids. you got to do it for yourself. And it's just my opinion that until you get to that mindset, I'm going to do it for me. I'm the one I got to do it for, that it's not going to work.
That's true. You got to be doing it for yourself. Just that's just the way it is.